want to remind everybody we're still under shelter in place, and that means that you cannot leave home to work at all unless you're considered critical infrastructure, which so far that's lenders, appraisers, and inspectors. Albeit a little bit different than usual. And if you want to learn more about that, check out the recordings from last week. But with that being said, we'll get started on this week. Photographers are definitely a crucial part to our business, but unfortunately not critical infrastructure workers at this point. And they're going to tell us a little bit about how they're dealing with the pandemic and how we can all work together to move forward to kick off a hot market once the order is lifted. So I'm going to get started here. If you have any questions, throw them up in the chat and we will address them. I think I'm starting off with Sarah here. Joe and Justin, feel free to chime in as well. But Sarah, I want to know, can you tell us how what an agent can tell their sellers to prepare their homes to be photographed during this time, so when the order is lifted, you can jump right in there and get started?
Yes, well, first of all, I showered today, you guys, so you guys could see my face. Now you can't see my face. No, I was kidding. Biggest thing is decluttering. I think taking the time that we have right now to declutter, get rid of your stuff that you aren't in need of, that you haven't seen in 3 years, like get rid of it. Get all your necessary deep cleaning done now. I mean, get your exteriors done, mow, it's beautiful out, leaf blow. I have rock beds in my house. We've just been blowing leaves out and bagging them, sprucing it up, getting your windows clean. Those are super important for photos, I believe. If you have any extra paint laying around, don't take the extra trip to the store to go buy it. It's not necessary, but patch up those worn out spots, or if you have paint that you can actually get a whole room done, get those rooms painted. I think the biggest thing is find the things that you wish you could have done but didn't have time to do before. And we all have the time to do it now. So those projects you can get done now. I have a checklist if you want to email me, firstimpression3d@gmail.com. And I can send it over to you. You can give that to your sellers. It's a pretty cool breakdown of just everything that's needed to do so that when I get in those homes, or Justin or Joe, we are able to just kind of whip it out and get as many of these things done for you guys as possible. We want it to all work together and make sure we can get all these houses flying off the market.
And Sarah, as long as I have your permission, I think you sent a copy of that checklist to us as well, and we can send that out to attendees afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Justin and Joe, do you guys have anything that you want to add on to that?
Yeah, I guess just piggybacking on what Sarah said as far as decluttering, when it comes to at least the professional portion of the photography that we do for you guys, minimalism is a big thing. And in our case, less is more. So, you want to get those items that are not essential, that are not accentuating the rooms in any way. You want to get that stuff out of there and just kind of put things in the room that are going to, make it look better, and just stuff that's not necessary you want out of there. So going for that minimalistic type of look for every single room that you have.
Yeah.
And even look at, looking at examples online is okay too. You get online, look for some professional real estate photos and see what other people have done in their homes. And I think that's a really good help as well.
I think, minimizing, especially your kitchen countertops. I think maybe 1-2 appliances max. Everything else should be gone. I mean, you really want to, like you said, minimize the space, make it look bigger.
Yes, absolutely.
So basically, when the order's lifted, give it a week and then hit up Goodwill, and you can find anything that everyone is getting rid of. Because I know I've got a carload of things from my own house that's ready to go. Wonderful.
Sure.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, realtors are not allowed to leave their house to go to work, and that includes with vacant homes. So a lot of listing agents are having to rely on their sellers right now to take photos on their phone or their camera, whatever they have available to them. So do you have any tips for what those amateur seller photographers can do in the meantime until you guys are able to go out there and get the pictures done professionally for the MLS?
I think depending on the circumstance, I've spoken to photographers that used to shoot back in the day when they would just have a newsletter and you'd only have one photo, and that one photo would be the front center shot of the house. So I think, starting with that and just getting the face of the home is something that the homeowners could be able to help with doing. And in doing that outdoor photo, you want the face of your home to be front and center and squared on the edges, and just try to do your best to hold your cell phone or whatever it is out in front of your face and really line it up as you look up at the phone to take the picture. And just try to be, like Justin said, as minimal as you can with taking the photos in your home as well, and just be simple with 1 to 2 photos of each room, and try to avoid taking pictures of things that maybe have personal sentiment to you in the home, but may not exactly show off the home in the rooms, and try to show the flow of the home and the openness of the home. So I'll let Justin add to that as well.
Yeah, so kind of going into more of the technical aspect of it, yeah, and make sure the toilets are closed for sure. Thanks for that, Stacey. Yeah, that's a must. But going into more, I guess, of the technical aspect of it a little bit now, the focal lengths that we use for shooting is, I think most of us shoot around 16 millimeter, and that's going to give you a pretty good wide field of view without distorting the image too much. Because sometimes you'll see those photographs of homes where it looks too wide and it's distorted, and then you go into the home and you're like, well, this is not at all what it looked like. It looked really stretched out and stuff. So 16 millimeter is a pretty good focal length. Now, I think most phones, correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, I don't know what they're normally at, maybe like 28 millimeter, I think, lenses.
Yeah, I think 20 is usually the widest they go on the phones.
Yeah, and I think the newest iPhone goes to pretty wide, maybe 16, wider than that. And that's got the 3 lenses on it. So if you can find that out, somehow, yeah, right. So, about 16 millimeter, if you can find that out, that's great. If not, just use what you have, obviously. But it's a matter of getting as much of the information as you can into the photo, as far as the size of the room goes. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have on that. Do you have anything else on that, Joe?
In just getting feedback from doing lots of homes, some of the more important rooms obviously are going to be the kitchen and the dining space and the living space of the home. So the homeowners know that space better than anyone. And a lot of times you're taking photos from doorways, or when you first see a room come into view after you come around the kitchen. And so just keep those types of views and those living spaces in mind. And when you're lining up your shot to take a photo, hold that phone out in front of you and look at the walls on either side of your shot, and just try to make sure things are lined up and look square and nice. And that'll go a long way with drawing attention to the room and the aesthetics of the photo. And I think that'll help a ton. Just keep things simple. Don't take 100 photos. You don't want to lose the attention of the people looking, and you just want to keep it simple if you can.
Yeah, and actually going on that as well, when he was talking about lining up the image, what I tend to like to do, and what you'll see in most of, at least the photos that I do, is you'll notice window frames, doorways. I'll do my best to never cut off a window or a door, so you only see half of the door frame, or like half of the window, or a quarter of the window. I want to see the entire window if it's going to be in the photo, and then I'll line up the window frame or the door frame with the edge of the photo, if at all possible. It just gives it a little more of an aesthetically pleasing look. And yeah, as he was saying, you know, shooting in the kitchen and the dining room, shooting from doorways, I do a lot of the time, and that tends to get most of the area in the frame is shooting from the doorways. And then I'll get maybe one or two more shots of the kitchen and dining room areas as well, just showing the different aspects of the room, the cabinetry, or if there's any other kind of interesting item in the room as well, as far as those rooms go.
I think it's also important to turn your lights on. I mean, I shoot with lights on. Hiding those animal toys in beds. I've had a couple photos being sent to me to edit, and there's cats in the middle of the floor. So, I mean, maybe just hiding your animals. Don't shoot your animals. Yeah, I think those are all really good points, though. Shutting closet doors in bedrooms. Don't shoot with the doors open. If it's unorganized or it's not a walk-in, I'd shut it. No need to show the closets. They're not clean.
One more quick piece of advice too, if you are using, obviously these are going to be instructions that you'll be giving to your homeowners. So the more that you're able to educate yourself on these types of things, YouTube has tons of great links to be able to share to your clients. And I think that also just holding the phone up and being able to touch in different areas, it will refocus. And with window shots especially, where you're going to run into trouble on the cell phone is the composure and the exposure of the entire photo with all that light coming in. So, if you are using a cell phone, maybe hold it next to a window and try to just tap the phone in different areas to get it to refocus and try to get that best exposure that you can get. And then obviously if you need it to have edited, I know Sarah is accepting edits, and that's something you can reach out to us as well for, but Sarah does the edits, so I would reach out to her. We send our editing out and rather help you coach your homeowners to take photos the right way. So, but we're definitely here to help.
Absolutely.
I have a question that just came in, guys. What
Okay.
is the best time of day to take pictures?
So it kind of depends. So if you're looking at a really nice clear day where the sun's out, the middle of the day probably isn't the best day to take photos outside. It'll probably be okay inside to take photos, and probably the best time inside is the middle of the day if it's really sunny out. When the sun goes down a little bit more, would probably be best for exterior photos if it's going to be really sunny out. That way you don't get those harsh shadows, especially if you're just taking them with, your iPhone or whatever device you have, and you're just doing one exposure. Because what we do is we take multiple exposures and we put them together so you get a better idea of what, the lighting looks like, and you get all of those details in the image. When you guys do that, you won't have that luxury to do. So if it's going to be a really bright sunny day and you have those harsh shadows, wait until the sun goes down a little bit to get those exterior photos. But as far as inside goes, yeah, I would do those during the day. If you have like a cloudy overcast day,
Yes.
that's even better.
Yep.
That way you don't get those hard shadows, on the exterior. So
I think that's a misconception about interiors is everybody always wants to shoot them on the nicest, sunniest day, when really, as a photographer on the professional standpoint, we want it to be cloudy. We want exteriors to be sunny, but we want the inside, we want it on a dreary day. Because if we don't get all those harsh, blown out windows and things like that, because the sun is so intense.
Right.
But that's kind of a misconception.
Yeah, definitely. So that as far as lighting goes, and inside, artificial lighting is okay. just be careful that you're not going to be using, the really yellow light, the really warm lights. You have those different tones and temperatures of lights that you can get. And since you guys are going to be, the homeowners are going to be able to be there with more time than we would probably have to shoot, mix and match lighting conditions if you're able to do that. Put a lamp in a room that's going to maybe not be as warm if you have a naturally warm looking room with, as far as the wall colors go, the paint on the walls or what have you. So yeah, and that's more info that I'm sure you can find, online. There's so much information online right now that you can find on this stuff. It's great, but yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm.
Great, thank you. So in terms of logistics, the agents are directing their sellers to take these pictures, and then you have, 25 to 30, probably even more pictures of a spot. What's the best way logistically for those sellers to get the photos over to their agents so that the agent can do something with them? Obviously, emailing 25 pictures in an email is not going to work out very well. That's a great way to lock up some email systems. What do you guys recommend for transporting pictures from the seller to the agent?
We currently use Dropbox right now. So that may be a good way of communicating to your homeowners, transferring files. I would think if you don't have to use Dropbox, it probably wouldn't be the first one to go to, and I can talk a little bit more about how that sharing process works. But Google Drive is a very good source of creating links for large files that need to be sent across. And most people have a Gmail account, so that would probably be one of the easier ways to be able to send these types of photos. I also know that PixieSet was mentioned by Sarah is another really good app that seems to have some really simple features as far as transferring files go. So just kind of depends on what your homeowner needs and is like and how you communicate with them. And to be able to have options to send to them, I think would probably be the best way to do it, because they're going to want to do what works best for them and what's easiest. But Dropbox is definitely something that if you're going to use, you want to have them create an account. It's entirely free. And you can do everything from your phone, which is what I would recommend doing. You can create the account right on your phone. The photos will already be on their phone. It's as simple as creating a folder in your account once you've got it set up, and just adding and touching, selecting the photos that you have and uploading them to that folder. And then once they've completed, you can share that folder and share the folder right to the agent. So that's how we deliver our photos. And I think if everything was done from the phone, the agent could receive that link from their homeowner, and then you could filter those photos too. If there's 80 photos there, then maybe select 30 to 40 of them, or however many you think you need for the home. And there's lots of links as far as how to use Dropbox on YouTube as well that we can throw into an email with Amanda if you'd like. But yeah, we're definitely here for those questions.
Yeah, PixieSet is, I definitely 100% am a Dropbox girl. I prefer Dropbox because it's just easy. But if that is too complicated for some people, and I know some people that don't really like to do Dropbox, PixieSet is another option, although it's not one that you can do on your phone. So that's why Dropbox is really your best bet. PixieSet is a good delivery system for myself once I've taken them and I can send them over. But it's an option if they have a computer they can upload to. I think minimizing the amount of transfers from taking the photo from the original source and directly sending it to the agent would be the best bet. Like taking them off Facebook or off Instagram is just, if you're gonna have one of us edit them, it's so hard to edit photos that have like added information inside of them because like filters added and all this stuff. You lose the composite of the actual photo. It's just harder to edit. But yeah, PixieSet's a good one too if you want to check that one out.
Great.
Yeah, and so sorry, just to add on, I know we were going to probably get into the editing portion of it here soon, but there's a couple apps, at least I know of one, where you can actually take pictures with your phone in a raw format. One of those apps you can download is called VSCO or Visco, and you can pay for a annual fee, which gives you some kind of other options in the app itself. But I believe the free app will allow you to shoot or take pictures in a raw format. It will actually retain more information than a normal cell phone picture will retain. And you have that option in the actual camera, in the camera app, in that app of VSCO. And I use it quite frequently with my own, photography outside of real estate. And it's pretty amazing. It does retain a lot of information. And if you do want those photos edited and you're only able to use your phone, using that will help tremendously in editing the pictures, because the more information that we have to use to edit, the better. So
Yeah.
Great. I just want to clarify, you guys are not able to go out and take pictures of a home right now due to the shelter in place order, but you are offering editing services for any pictures that the sellers may take during this time. That's correct?
Yes. I've had multiple agents, I guess you could say I'm currently working from home, sending me photos that their sellers have taken, and I'm doctoring them up as best I can. Now, granted, I am not going to be able to produce the quality of image that I typically would with my professional camera. We all know that it's not going to be the same quality, but at least we can spruce them up, we can make them look prettier, we can correct your verticals, we can do all those things. I just really want to emphasize that my camera is a lot different than a phone. So it won't be as pretty, but I will definitely make it pretty as I can, and it will look a lot better than the original photo, I'm sure. Not saying your sellers aren't capable of doing that, but
yeah.
Yes, I'm offering that service. I know you guys are having more of a tough time with that because you guys send out your photos to edit, but
George, Justin, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I think just having, the communication that you need to have with your homeowner and moving forward. If this isn't a time that they're comfortable with selling, then I think it is just a great time to get the house looking in tip-top shape and getting all those painting projects done, removing the clutter, and just trying to, keep your sellers busy and motivated, and then I think that hopefully there'll be good news and we can all continue on with our ways.
Yep. And if you guys need those editing services done, you guys can email me the photos, however it is that you guys want to email them to me. My email is firstimpression3d@gmail.com. I can get them done for you typically within a few minutes, and you have them back. So that's an option for you guys as well.
Great.
Few minutes, that's impressive.
Give me a max of half an hour.
This is recorded, Sarah. That's pretty brave of you.
Yeah, or if you live within a mile of any of us, we can pop the drone up in the air and get to a house. That's about as far
Yeah.
as we go.
Leaving our house, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
One last question. Any tips for mirrors?
Oh.
Well, yeah, that's a good one. So normally what we have, our editors actually remove things out of mirrors, such as, our mugshots. So
Yep.
I guess if there's any way of just avoiding getting yourself in the mirror, that would be ideal. Joe, I don't know. Do you know how?
There are some apps out there that you can have fairly simple ways to move. It may not be perfect, but there are ways to kind of smudge things out of photos through some different editing apps and software. It's, again, one of those things. If it's a bathroom, try taking a couple steps back out of the door frame and just remove yourself from being in the mirror. If it's a big mirror on a wall that you just can't avoid, you may have to get creative and have a way to just angle yourself out of the photo until you don't see yourself, or you can take a photo on a tripod. You can try to get a tripod stand for your phone and take it on a timer and leave the room and position it in a way that you can get out of the shot. At least you're not a person in the photo. It might be easier to edit out a tripod than your own self. So that might be a way to try and do that. Even if it's something where you have to set the phone on a table and kind of prop it up. We all have to get creative these days with doing business. So I think going live even with your homeowner, your sellers, might be a way to, walk them through the house and just say, hey, here's something you may want to take a photo of. You as a real estate agent know where the attention is at. So maybe just try to guide that attention for them and, just keep it interactive as much as you can.
I think as far as the mirrors go too, excuse me, you can try to take them at a lower angle too. I mean, I know some photographers that shoot pretty low. For us to fix that problem now, I guess kind of kneel down and try to shoot. You're going to get a lower photo. Yeah, you're going to get more covered, but at least you're out of the photo. I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be completely situational. It's gonna be different from case to case, and bathrooms tend to be the most notorious for that problem, because as soon as you open the door, normally there's a mirror, So unless you have a half bath or just a vanity or something with a toilet or something like that. But yeah, just use your best discretion, really. I mean, if you're going to get your entire body in there, if you have no other way, then, go inside, go into the bathroom, try to get an angle. Because normally how we shoot is we don't really worry about the toilet as much. We try to get the vanity. And if there's like a shower, they want to show off the inside, like the tiling or something like that within the shower, then we'll shoot that as well. You can take a couple shots. You don't have to be limited to what you take. Just, like I was saying, just use your best discretion on that.
Great. Thank you so much, Sarah, Justin, and Joe, for joining us today. Look out for the recording of this webinar in our Facebook group, as well as the recordings from last week and the schedule for the week ahead. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. And I hope to see you tomorrow to chat with some inspectors. Have a great day.